Yeah, so number one, I'm not the guy that broke your heart. Yeah, don't get us confused. Number two, I'm not your father. I did not abandon my kids like your father clearly did. Let's clear up some things.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Crib Sheet. We are so glad to be back. We've missed you so much. How you guys? How are you, Chim and Sheila?
Sheila, you go first.
How have you been? What have you been up to?
I'm good. Um, like always, catching up with life. Kuna venye miezi zinasonga.
Yeah, it's December. Christmas is around the corner.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm good.
Great.
Man, I'm blessed. I'm wondering, you guys are planning for
You
Christmas.
are blessed.
I thought I was blessed. Like, you
Chim
guys
is
are the ones
blessed.
planning for Christmas.
When you're not planning for Christmas, what will you be
What
doing?
are you planning
I'm
for?
home alone.
Why are you home alone? Then that's your problem.
There's no money.
You brought it
That's how
upon
we-
yourself.
There's no money.
Says the person who lives in the leafy suburbs.
I know.
The person who lives in the leafy suburbs has no money. How is that even possible? Anyway, but we're so glad to be back. I've missed you guys so much. And we want to say thank you to our 1.4 million. 1.4
From the lips
thousand
to God's
subscribers.
ears.
You know? So you say amen.
Yeah, amen.
Thank you so much to our subscribers. So today's episode is going to be, I hope, a fun one and an easy one as we open up into season 2. So we want to go back to the first season just to do a recap, and then go to your comments and get to chit chat about the comments and the comments that you gave us. So maybe just to ask you, I don't know whether I'll start with Chim. Sid is the guy behind the camera. Hi, Sid. So I don't know whether I'll start with you, Chim or
Easy.
Sheila. What
You
were your
choose.
highlights for season 1? How was season 1 for you? What were your highlights, lowlights?
Mine is sort of at the same thing. Realizing just how toxic most people's relationships are with their co-parenting
Yeah.
relationships are, and just how shocked they were that CJ and I still, these are boys.
I can imagine.
And-
I was shocked as well, I wouldn't lie. I was
Hey,
like,
so
whoa.
for most guys, it was almost like, yo, are you guys still together? There must be something going on. Something that I found very, very interesting. I guess, I don't know if this is, to me, it's a highlight. I don't know how you guys would take it. Meeting people when I'd be out and about. There was a time I was with my wife at Carrefour,
Yeah.
the one in Ruaka, Two Rivers, right? I was out with my wife. We were doing some shopping. And I met a guy who was like, yo, I saw you on some podcast with Ramsey. Actually, the Ramsey episode was really good.
Yeah,
And he was like, I met you. I saw you there. And the guy was actually very, very cordial, but he was taken aback. It was like he took a step back, looked at me. I was like, okay. Then when he walked away, my wife was like, if you were skinny, he would have
That's
said
something.
something. He would have said something.
Yeah.
Also being out the time we were out, I was at a concert and some guys came up to me. They're like, yo, you're actually big. Like, you're actually big.
He looks small on the camera,
like-
I guess.
He does.
Yeah.
He does.
And it almost felt like if I was small, probably they would have said
Someone,
what
yeah.
was really going on in their minds.
Yeah.
Other than that, I guess a low aspect would be the fact that the mother of my kids, she also caught a lot of flack. And she's a very, very private person. I had coaxed out of her shell.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's very, very private. Her catching that flack.
Oh man.
But it's easy.
Out of curiosity. Or maybe let me hear from Sheila, then I can ask. Your highlights, your lowlights.
I think just the thought of the podcast moving from a dream to actually happening.
To the to reality.
That as in that's one of the things I'm blessed to have the team on board, and also just getting to hear people's stories on the comments. Like I make time, not all the time, but I make time to just go through the different comments and how people are reacting or responding to the various episodes that we have. And it's really overwhelmed with joy.
Yeah.
And also the fact that even my friends have actually reached out and shared their stories as well.
Yeah,
I'm like, I can't come to
Yeah.
the podcast, but one thing you need to know, I really appreciate what you guys are doing.
I showed you
So-
what one of your friends had said, and it's like, oh, so she like on this cutting. Even the haters are reaching out.
The friends and the haters.
No, I don't think they are, but you're
you're
coming from a
watching.
point of, Sheila, and you know this is the last thing she'd actually do.
Ah, okay.
So
I hadn't seen
I'd
it from
never-
that perspective.
You'd never find me on a podcast. And big ups to Martin Chiare for making me do this. Amazing
don't know you,
boss,
but-
and we don't talk frequently, but he's someone who pushed me to do this. So thanks to him. Secondly, I love the comments, the things that people say that pushes us to develop more content. The haters, the guys who actually love the podcast, the different episodes. So they are the reason why we are here and why we feel we need to push on, because at some point people will drop off, but we also want to remain with the people who are very important to this content. Episodes. I loved Wamboys.
Yeah. Ooh.
I think if there's one,
Yeah.
I love dramas as well, and I love the guys. But one thing that was very unique, as in something I'd never thought I'd have on this show, was Wamboy's raising special.
Yeah. Yeah.
That stood out. And also, if you look at the comments that people are putting up, there are people who actually go through the same thing that Wamboy is going through, and they learned a lot from her.
Yeah.
Very constructive feedback on that episode. So if you haven't watched it, please do. I think those are my highlights.
I
Yeah.
had one more.
Yeah. Your tip.
Stood out.
Away from the
Literally.
teeth. Away from the teeth. We'll get back to the teeth.
Yeah.
You guys don't know. I think I told you guys this. I'm not sure if I did. But if I didn't, you spoke about the episode that had the guys. One of the guys, their fathers reached out and was like, yo, I had no idea.
Wow. That this was the impact.
Yeah, like I had no idea. And they'll figure out what they're going to do. But the girl's like, yo, I had no idea.
Amazing. That's amazing.
Like, I'm really proud of you. And it was a bit awkward because they're like, you're proud of what you didn't participate
I know,
in.
right?
Crazy. Like,
Yeah.
but that was I don't know if it was special. It's just for us were sitting down talking. The girl's like, oh yeah, my father is in the comments.
Whoa.
I saw that. I was
That's
like,
amazing. That's amazing. So it's a show that is bringing people together as well.
I hope we
Yeah.
get as many single dads and moms going back, just reviewing the relationship.
Exactly.
And realizing
Exactly,
there's more to just you and I being in a relationship. How do I commit first to the children
Yeah.
and then say I'm committed to you as
Yeah,
a parent
exactly.
or a co-parent?
Yeah.
Then we're able to do it well, because I think we react to things that happened so many years back and we forget the children are still here.
They are
And they
yeah,
need to be raised best way we know how. And at times that the option would be getting back to your partner, or rather the baby daddy and or the baby mama, and just saying, let's just do this for the children.
Oh, that's
yeah,
nice.
that's something
nice, yeah.
I'd love to see.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's amazing. So for me, I think my highlight was starting the show. So thank you, Sheila.
Yeah.
In case you didn't know, this is Sheila's brainchild. So thank you very much. And thank you for choosing us. So I think that was obviously, I think when we started, I was scared. I kept thinking, oh my gosh,
Do you remember?
I remember. Ooh. I was so freaked out. I kept thinking, do I want to do this and all that? I kept second guessing myself. But I think over time, just seeing the comments on the show, just getting people, sending you messages, you realize, you know what? These are conversations that people do not talk about. So people are going through so much as single parents, but they don't know who to talk to about. And And of course, because I still feel like there's, I think, a lot of stigma about being a single parent. So here, one of the interesting things, a friend of mine sent me a comment, and she was like, you know what? It's interesting that you can actually boldly say that you're a single parent. I'm like, but I am. Until anything else happens. For now, I am raising this child alone. So there's no shame in it. It is what it is.
I'd say that also comes with age.
Yeah, or maybe.
Because
Yeah,
when you're
it could
younger,
be. Yeah.
there's a shame of comparing yourself to your peers and realizing, okay, I'm the only one from my class.
Exactly. Actually, you're right.
Yeah. So when
That's
you
a
get
good
older
point
is when
to
you're
raise,
like,
yeah.
yo,
Yeah,
I don't
it
care
is what it
you guys
is.
think.
Yeah,
It is what it is.
yeah. So I think for me that was a highlight. Just realizing it is just the first episode, but people are feeling like this is a conversation that needs to be had, and it keeps me thinking. You know what? I can't wait to see how this goes. But even a second highlight, I must say, Chim, thank you very much. I think you have been my highlight, and I'll tell you why. Because the way you keep saying that you are, or you kept saying that you are a reforming. Are we allowed to use that word?
F-boy.
Yeah.
F-boy. So the one thing that I've learned over time is that really sometimes, because see, there are men you think would be good fathers, and they're not. And then there are those you think won't be, and they are.
Yeah.
So I think over time, the one thing I've realized is fatherhood really goes back to who you are as a person. It's really about your character. It is not about you're dressed in random
Masculinity and all
jeans.
that.
Yeah, it's
I will
really
also say
about-
this. It also really does depend on the mother of the children, because like
Yeah,
I always
that's
say
a good
this.
point,
My
yeah.
story, it was literally like Siju having to show me, okay, cool, like just be there for the kids. Just do that much.
Yeah.
Right? Just do that much. And once we had that initial conflict, her moving away and just allowing me to figure out how to navigate that scenario. And in as much as I moved away, she still kept in touch with my mother. You're getting so
Okay,
everyone around me was like, yo, you can't be
You need to
useless.
pull up
And
your socks,
you can't
yeah.
just say I'll send, like, be there for the kids. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's amazing. It's also, I think, a challenge to all moms out there. If you're able to, just ensure that give the father space to be there, as long as they're not abusing them. I don't know how this would work, and probably as we move, we'll figure it out.
Probably also just get his family involved. Get his family involved. Get his mom involved. Get his father involved. Not necessarily like to try and reconcile you, but like, this is your
For the sake of the
grandchild.
kids, yeah.
Be there for your grandchild. If they agree, fantastic. If they
Yeah.
don't, because life isn't always sunshine and roses.
True.
If they refuse, screw them.
Yeah,
Move on.
you tried. At least you'll have tried. Yeah.
Funny thing is, so many of my friends, you too, Carol, I remember the first time when I told you I have a very good relationship with my first son's grandparents.
Yes.
Like during this holiday, they keep on asking, so are the children coming? And please
that's
not, it's just
sweet.
not the firstborn.
It is
all of them.
Yeah.
Because they believe they're all ours. And I still talk to the grandpa, and I still talk to them, and I keep on checking up on them, like, how are you doing? And right
That's
now,
beautiful.
Maito is still there, and just checking up on them, making sure they're okay, because if shit hits the fan, imagine he needs to know that's home.
That's home, exactly.
So I think when we cross, if we don't agree with the baby daddy, it doesn't mean you do not agree with the grandparents. If they're still willing to take the son in, please allow them to. Because Nathan would go and spend time with the grandparents, with the auntie.
Yeah.
And the dad might even go and find him there. Or he can just come and take all the children and go with. So it's not about my relationship with the father, but it's my relationship with my son, and also what's that relationship that I want my son to have with his people, which is very, very important. Something
That's
maybe people need to look at.
But it's actually a very good challenge that you raise, because then I'm also wondering, even beyond the two who things didn't work out, but it is the other people. So your brother has a child somewhere. What are you doing about it? Are you just quiet and he's being a deadbeat, or yours? I don't know. but it's really an interesting challenge. It's an interesting challenge. So the question I wanted to ask you guys, I remember at some point someone asking me, how will it be for you when your son's peers see you having this conversation or hear you having this conversation? And I remember sitting and I was like, that's a good question. So anyway, so my son has already bumped into this channel.
Oh, you.
Yeah.
He has.
Yeah.
He's already bumped into this channel. He didn't bump onto he bumped onto it on TikTok. So I shared, those videos. I shared a video, and then one of my younger cousins. So it's like, oh my gosh, he's your mom. Anyway, so my son is really wondering, what the hell? Anyway, but for me, I remember being asked that question, and I was like, okay, I don't know. So I don't know about you guys.
Yo, my daughter is excited. Like, my daughter knows about Cribsheet.
Yeah.
She's always, like, when I'll check into, let's say, their digs to pick them up, she'll be like, let me show you. And she'll put up the video her mother features on.
Oh, nice.
Right? My son can recognize it. He really doesn't have too much of an interest there, but he can recognize it. Yeah. Like, he'll point at the screen, point at me, then point at his mother and be like,
oh, nice.
He'll mouth
beautiful.
mom.
Yeah.
So my daughter is actually really, really excited because right now I guess the cool thing is to be like a TikToker or YouTuber. So for her, she's really, really happy. That's something she gets to flex on, guys. In school.
Like guess what?
Nathan knows I do the podcast. The content, he doesn't know much about it, but he just asked me, so what do you talk about? And then I told him parenting. How,
and he's thinking that's boring. I don't need to.
Your mom as a parent, how I take care of you and your siblings, so people can be able to know how I do it. People share how they do it. So it's just a platform where we just talk about parenting. It's like, oh, okay. So I asked him, would you like to have an episode just to talk about how your mom raises another? Okay. Like, what is okay? When I'm ready, I will.
Yeah.
And because he knows, like, right now he'd probably bump into content on TikTok if he's on someone else's phone. But he knows on his tablet, no TikTok.
There's no TikTok, exactly. Yeah.
And also when they're watching TV on YouTube, I never use the TV to watch my content. So he'd never...
Oh, I usually just give them their own profile.
No.
So
I just don't...
I also have the same profile, but I watch my own stuff here. So,
Yeah, there's no way my kids are watching my YouTube. We are not sharing a profile.
Yeah, so he knows. Yeah. And I don't think it's content that I'd be able to share away. Something I said, not something someone else has said. And it's not like I'm holding back on the content just because one of these fine days probably he'll bump. I'd say it as it is. Because also we should not assume that our children do not know what we're talking about.
They do, for sure.
He's seen you talking to to the baby daddy, and he's probably been able to see how you interact. So how you interact should match what you're saying.
Yeah.
And if you're not willing, and you wouldn't be happy if your child gets this content, then probably you shouldn't
be doing it. Yeah.
So if you're mistreating the baby daddy when they come for the kids, if you want the baby daddy to be at the gate when picking the children, my question is that day when you're not in the house,
what happens?
Do you still want him to drop him at the gate, or would you want him to bring him home?
Yeah.
Right. So
okay. I think that's
things to ponder as parents. Yeah.
Well, I think that was a long chit chat.
Catch up.
It was a good catch up, good banter. So like I think I'd said when we started, today's show is to really just go through and appreciate everyone who's been sending their comments and questions and all that. So we are appreciating you today as we shout you out, and also just to get to react to some of this feedback. Are you guys ready? Okay, so I will start with Njeri Ngigi. Well done, so proud of your courage. Yay.
Thanks, Jerry.
Thanks, Njeri. I hope you've subscribed. So who is that handsome man? Shame. Tell us, who's that handsome man? From Caroline Mukami.
She must not have seen my teeth.
She must have, and she likes
And the
teeth.
pants.
Yeah.
I'm guessing guys are just jealous about the ripped jeans.
Guys want to wear the ripped jeans, but they don't know.
They don't know how.
Yeah. All right, that's Caroline, and then user Jane 6544. So this dude doesn't have a dad, but then tells the ladies to introduce the simp men to their dads to point out the simp. So how does he know the dads can point out the simp, or is it his insecurities because he feels like a simp? Makes me feel like he's just calling out for a father figure in his life. He is lost. Most of my macho uncles are single. Okay, sorry. Most of my macho uncles are single dads or deadbeats, meaning they feel weak inside, so they have to show a macho exterior because of their insecurities. Chim.
Yeah, so number one, I'm not the guy that broke your heart. Yeah, don't get us confused. Number two, I'm not your father. I did not abandon my kids like your father clearly did. Let's clear up some things. The third thing is this. You seem to be using the word simp a lot, and you do not understand what the word simp means. You're just throwing buzzwords that you heard someone saying. It's like, whatever sticks, sticks. No, a simp is a man who pedestalizes women. Clearly, that's not who you're describing. Clearly, dumbass. The thing is this. I stand by what I said. If you are a woman and you're dating, make sure you introduce the men that you are dating or the man that has shown an interest in you to your brothers and your father. For you, I guess, would be your brother. If you don't have brothers, then your uncles. You said your uncles are deadbeats. Jesus Christ. You're running out of men that you can introduce these guys to. The idea is this. Your brothers have an interest in seeing you succeed, right? They have an interest in seeing you have a stable home life. Same thing with your father. You will forever be his little girl. He wants what's best for you. He will be able to have... Your father has been in the space where men are being men. When he hears men talk about, this shorty is just a jump off. Yeah? I think this shorty is wifey. Yeah? So he's able to differentiate and say, the way this guy is behaving, he reminds me of when I was his age, the guys who used to just look for the next skirt to chase. Or he'll be able to say, I can see something in this guy. Maybe he's a bit confused. Maybe he needs to be course corrected. But I can actually see me handing my daughter over to him and him taking care of her the right way.
Yeah.
Isn't that logical?
Yeah. No, I actually do agree with you because I strongly feel... Obviously, I don't think I'll introduce all the men to my dad.
The ones that you're getting serious with.
Yes, the ones I'm getting serious with. But I feel like when I'm seeing someone or when I'm dating someone, beyond them going through... My girls, they have to meet Sheila, and then Sheila will be like, madam, ay.
I will say this, though. The danger of you introducing your friends to your guy is, you see, you are at a point where you and your friends are no longer being fake with each other. There's none of that BS competition, right? Yeah. There are a lot of women who will attest to this. Single women keep women single. So you'll introduce a guy to your pal. Your pal is like, okay, I can see this shorty. He's not a bad guy, but that means I'm going to lose you as a friend. So because once you're in that relationship, you guys will do your own thing. Yeah. So I'd rather sabotage that and keep you around. Or maybe I want the guy.
Yeah, or maybe you want the guy. But I think it's also good to really understand who your friends are. Because then once you understand, then you know, okay, I think this one would be genuine. But I think even beyond now the friends, like you're saying, maybe, I don't know, trusted cousins, trusted uncles.
Yes.
Yeah. Let them meet for...
I reiterate. As a woman, introducing your man to your friends, so you understand just how little women like each other. The one group that has the highest level of domestic violence, the highest level of divorce, up to 77%, is who? Lesbians. Did you know that?
Oh.
It's lesbians.
So there's research on that?
Yes.
Okay.
And the most stable union is who? Gay men. I say all that to
They're
say
simple
this.
because
Yeah,
where
I
else
say
are
all that
they
to say
going?
this. Women, there's a guy called Ted Bundy, he was a character on a show, and the guy used to say, don't try to understand women. Women understand women and they hate each other. My thinking is, and this is what I'll teach my daughter. Honestly speaking, you don't know what your friend, you don't even know what the mother is telling your friend. The mother might be saying, yo, he's a good guy. Why are you letting Carl stay with a good guy? Like, yo,
Do something about
do
it
some-
very quick.
He'll give you a good future.
Yeah.
Do something.
Yeah.
You're
Never
getting
know.
it.
Yeah, you never know.
So
yeah.
I usually just say, you guys are at an age where you no longer have that competition.
Yeah,
right?
it is what it is.
But I'm sure you can think of someone who you know you will never introduce that person
Yeah.
to your guy.
I was laughing at this because I remember my second baby daddy. I introduced him to Caro and everyone else. Everyone loved him, and that's why I say a potential single dad or a baby daddy is not from how they dress. It's not from how they talk. It's not how they walk. It's not where they work. It's not the money they make. This guy. It's an individual thing. If I decide I want to be a single mom, I can be a single mom.
Yeah.
But I always say I should have introduced him to the girls, and probably the boys would have called that bullshit.
Yeah, yeah.
But it wasn't bullshit. Per
You guys
se,
have male
but
friends?
I do.
I do.
Like you have platonic friends of the opposite gender?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
So now I even know who I should have introduced to.
Yeah.
So
we do have
it's very
friends.
true. Introducing them to a fellow, a man, an uncle,
Yeah.
is a good thing. Your friends, your girls, your boys, fine, but take it a notch higher.
Yeah.
And let them meet an uncle who won't mince his words.
Yeah.
Also,
actually,
I'll
that
take it one
reminds
step
me.
further and say, let them meet, not just at your introduction for he's coming to pick you up and then he bails. No, invite him for dinner. You know those situations where guys will be on the grill and they're babe, so what's the deal now?
Yeah.
You get it? What's the deal? Let him also understand there might be a price to pay if he's just looking to mess around with you.
Yeah.
Sorry,
No,
I cut
I
you
agree.
off. Sorry.
No. I was saying I remembered one of those episodes. I can't remember which one, but I remember you mentioning and saying that sometimes you think you have chosen right as a woman, and then a few years down the line, that guy is the worst F up. And you thought you had chosen it, but yeah, so it just takes me back to that because I'm like, sometimes we choose and we think we know.
Yeah.
And then we go through our girlfriends and we think they know.
And keep in mind, it's also the same thing with men.
Yeah.
Yeah, like for me, I always use this example. I have a friend, his name is Zola. That's a guy who I know is right or die. We've been through a lot. But that's also a guy who, honestly, he will call me out when I'm messing up. Like I don't know why life is like this. Even when I was at my dirtiest, and I was at my grimiest, I had good girls around, right? Zola would always call me like, why are you doing this? And you have, like, she's good. She has her flaws and all. She's good. You're getting?
Yeah.
Like, even with my wife right now, Zola was like, yo, bro, she's good. I'll even give you guys a bit of information about me. Started a company, got booted from the company that I had literally started, right? And when that happened, I remember telling all the shorties I was dealing with, quite a few, I was like, yo, you bounce. There's one who even didn't wait for that to happen. When the sign was in the air that it was going to happen, she did. She bounced. And I remember her asking me, why aren't you crying? And I was like,
what? Yeah.
And she was crying in my car, like ugly crying. I was like, Ew. Anyway, I told my wife, Izao, bounce. Like, I don't know where I'm going to land in a year's time. And especially when that happens, I don't want to have fights where we're arguing about money and anything. Knowing where I'm going, bounce. Like, no, I'm good. I'm good where I am. Corona hit.
She stayed,
That very year, Corona hit. And she was like, oh, I was like, yo, bounce. And my boy was like, why do you keep telling her to bounce? Like, she's an adult. She's had you. She decides she will. You'll be fine if she does. But don't sabotage. Like, as guys are, you use a bit more colorful language when you're together. Guys, like, don't trip on your own. Just chill. She's a good woman. If she's not, she'll soon show herself. Chill. And he was right.
Yeah.
You're getting. So even
Yeah.
for me, I usually tell my homies, like, you should have a couple of homies who you know.
Exactly.
Like, even if they might not be your funnest friend, but they're guys you can have deep conversations with.
True.
And they'll be able to check you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for
You're
men, it's
right,
slightly
yeah.
different. A man can go to another man and ask him, what do you think about her?
Oh.
Yeah. Straight up, a guy will tell you, yo, she's a wifey or she's not. Yeah.
I think I need to. We need a dating show for men just to hear their. Anyway, so senior Q. Men, there are no rules for being a real man. Oh yeah, so this is on the episode by Rama. Men, there are no rules for being a real man. Anyone who tells you anyone who tells you that is trying to control you. There are as many healthy, valid versions of masculinity as there are men to perform them. Millions of that one is a big one. Create, find, evolve the one that's right for you. Mark Green, remaking manhood. Okay, that's
Okay,
you.
so that one. You started off so well, then you went off the track.
Then I went off. Can I go back?
Let's tell the truth. Let's tell the truth. There is such a thing as a man. It's universal. It's not subjective. It's objective. There's a man in China. If you take him, listen, guys. There's a man in China. If you take him out of China and put him in Africa, guys will still be able to respect him as a man. Being a man is about it's a set of principles, a code of ethics. That's why you hear guys nowadays, because men don't really understand it, they'll call it things like bro code or whatnot. Being a man, there is a standard.
Okay.
You must provide, you must protect. Right? Beyond that, I will agree. Beyond that, you can add your own idiosyncrasies, because you cannot tell, for example, you cannot tell a homosexual you're not a man simply because you don't agree with their orientation.
Yeah.
However you feel about it, there are gay men who are more solid than straight guys, right? And there are straight men who are just straight up snakes, right? Ideally, why do women ask where all the good men are? It's because you kind of know what a good man is.
But I don't know. Okay, so there's a bit of truth, in my opinion. There's a bit of truth in that, but I'm also looking at it this way. So, like you're saying, there are things that really are the foundations of you being a man. Without you being providing, without you providing, without you protecting, there's nothing we're discussing here.
Yeah.
But life has ups and downs.
Agreed.
Yeah, so I'm in my worst. I'm not able to
because
provide.
the day
Does that
I'm
make
not
me less
able
of a
to
man?
provide or protect you, does it mean I'm less of a man?
Listen,
exactly.
So I like what you've said. These things are nuanced, but ultimately, if you're with a guy and he loses his job, right, and the guy just wastes away, right, that's not a man.
Really?
So are you
not a
also
man.
trying to say the baby daddies who do not provide, protect all your P's?
Yeah.
There are only two P's, but that's not a man. Think of it like this. There's a poem I really like. It's a poem called If by Rudyard Kipling. He actually discusses the nuances of being a man. You will get knocked down, but then you rise. And sometimes you will get knocked down again, but then you rise up again, right? My thing is this. Today's world is not our grandfather's world, where my wife wouldn't be working, it would just be me, right? Today's world is such that I'll probably be working, she's working, and she's making more than me, right? Then how do you navigate that? Do I then say, ideally because she's making more than me, I'm not a provider? No, there are ways that you navigate such issues. For example, you could say, it doesn't matter that you're earning your M. And this is something I strongly, wholeheartedly believe in. I tell men, it doesn't matter if she's earning her millions and you're earning your 100K or your 50K. Yeah, she's your woman, she will live within your means. I can only provide a house in Kayole. You will live within my means.
Yeah.
If we are going to have a conversation where you tell me, okay, look, bro, I really cannot do this. I really can't do this. That is a conversation you guys will have as a couple and arrive at your solution. Right? But ultimately, you will be providing. She could say, for example, just another example, my company provides housing.
Yeah.
Right? So
At least
you're
you have
not
a
you're
home,
not providing
you have a roof.
rent.
Yeah.
Are you not a provider? You could say,
You are
cool.
providing.
I will then what I'll do, I'll take over food. Like I'll take over. These are conversations you'll have where you'll say the most important bills for a child in a family are what? or for a family are what? There's rent, there's healthcare, there's education, right?
Yeah. And food.
She could say, yo, man, I'm
Yeah.
so good, I want to take my kids to Braeburn or Rusinga. You dig?
Yeah.
Then what do? Are you going to tell them, no, I can't afford Rusinga, we're going to go to Jamhuri?
So what do?
You'll negotiate around that.
So as a man,
You will
Yeah.
negotiate around that. You'll tell her, listen, Checky, babes, you want the kids to go here? Fine. Why? Why do you want the kids to go here? What is it about this school? Do you think they will learn about how to be successful ultimately that they cannot learn in this other school that I can afford? She'll tell you, well, to be honest with you, the truth is some of these schools give you opportunities to hobnob with the kids of the school, right? Then you have to weigh your options and say, okay, that is not a bad thing. That's actually a really good thing. Networking, really, really good thing.
Networking is important.
Right? Really, really
Yeah.
good thing. But you want to tell me that there are no businessmen that are born of Jamhuri? There are very, very many, because those boys learn from a young age to fend for themselves. So such people will go into business, right?
True.
So you have to weigh the pros and cons. You guys, when you're in your duvet, you will decide what's best.
Yeah.
She will follow your lead, though.
So let me just go back to that point. So I hear where you're coming from. But the question again is, who decides what provision is? And the reason I'm asking that is, you see, you've given a very good example of, your wife hypothetically wants to take your kids to Braeburn, but you feel like, I can only afford Jamhuri. According to her, you are not providing. Because she feels you're not giving my children what I need, what they need.
I like what you're saying, but it goes back to what I said originally.
Yeah.
You will live within my means. If you cannot live within my means, then why are we married?
And so
Go your way,
I think
go
what
my
you're
way.
also,
I think
you know,
what Chim is saying is he is willing to provide, just that I'm not able to provide to that level.
I get it.
I want to take the kids to school. I can pay school fees, but I can only afford this
To
tier
level.
of
Yeah.
the school that they can go to. And then as a wife, because you're making more, you say, but I'd want them to go here. So I think it's always a conversation of, when are we able to afford it? Because I can't tell you my company would provide housing. The dude is okay with it. I tell you, oh, no, let the kids go this type of school because I can pay for it. The dude is okay with it.
And
I
actually,
think you
that
need to
is
come
where I was
back as a
heading.
man
Yes,
and tell us,
exactly.
okay, now that your wife is doing all this,
And
where are you going
fundamentally,
to
at the end of the
doing?
day, also, as I said, you see, most people assume leadership means you back orders. And that is because we are a third world shithole. Look at where we are as a country. We have had leaders who come with a big man mentality. So a lot of men believe just coming and backing orders is what leadership is. Leadership is actually very, very malleable. Like, yes, there are some hard no's, there are boundaries, there are hard no's, right? But I should be able to sit down and reason with you and listen to what you have to say.
Yeah.
It's not a partnership. I'm in charge. But even in a company, the CEO, when he has a decision to make, he's going to have to sit down with someone and actually say, okay, these are our options. What do you think is best? And there's a saying I really, really love. Just forget who said it. He's a Russian, he was a philosopher and author. I just forget who said his name. But he said, in the matter of boots, defer to the wisdom of the cobbler.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
Yeah.
The way I personally look at it is this, and I'll be very, very honest. I was your slightly above average student. I could focus. I didn't care for school. When I'd apply myself, I'd succeed, but I didn't really care. The mother of my kids was in the newspaper for KCSE. Am I going to argue with her about education? Honestly. Honestly. My wife is an A student lawyer. Am I going to argue with her? Honestly, when she's talking to me about education?
Probably
It
not.
really doesn't make sense. She's going to tell me, listen, Ndugu, at the end of the day, I feel these guys have the best in terms of academics. Like with we have a special needs kid, right?
Yeah.
I have been to the school. I have done my investigation. I feel this is the best school. I'm not going to start chest thumping and say, no, we are going to go to a public. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Right? So at the end of the day, it also goes back to who you women choose to procreate with.
I think it's more of my definition of a man is going to differ from what Carol's definition is.
Exactly.
It has nothing to do with provide, protect.
No,
That's one. It is part of it, but it would never Because I know of couples who
The woman-
meet halfway.
The woman who provides protection.
No,
When there's a knock at night, the
She's
man is
the
like,
one
go
who-
and check. It's on your side.
like there are things they've decided you would take this and you would take
That's exactly
that,
what I'm
right?
talking about.
Yeah.
So what define a man is going to be totally different how you will define it.
Yeah,
However,
true.
I feel we've taken this too seriously. In a way, if today the man is not able to provide and protect
They commit suicide.
people, yeah,
I will. Okay, it's like this. Not that we have taken it too seriously. Civilization depends on masculinity being very well defined. The issue is, in a third world setting, we didn't have the crossover from the guys who are slightly older than us are called who? The boomers.
The
Yeah.
baby boomers, yeah.
They didn't hold the earliest millennials' hands and show them, okay, things are changing. This is how you're going to navigate it around your masculinity. So in a lot of areas, we are defining it through a very outdated lens, right? These guys came up at a time when jobs were very easy to find. So when you go home and you tell your father, yo, I've lost my job, I really can't find a job, and my wife now has to take over, your father's going to look at you like, what is this guy
your
telling
problem?
me,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah,
that
yeah.
disconnect. But fundamentally, we know what a man is. If you put a man on an island somewhere with absolutely nothing, you will expect him to be a man, regardless. What you get, the archetype you have when you strip away everything. When you talk about basics and foundations, the foundation of a house is really just bare minimum, strip down, dig, build up, right?
Yeah.
When you take away everything, the clothes, the cars, the money, when you take it away, who are you left with as a man? What are his principles? Right? Then now you can begin to build everything there. That is why, honestly, Sheila, you will have a rich guy who is absolutely useless. And you'll have a
yes.
poor guy who is a solid
Yeah.
man.
True,
He's a good man.
Yeah.
But what's Savannah? Was it Savannah or Vanessa? I forget.
Yeah.
You're
No, but I
getting-
hear what you're saying. Yeah. I think, yeah. I feel like, yeah, now that you've said on matters of boots, because I'm like, okay, let the men speak about masculinity. Anyway, our producer is saying that we are about to leave the set. So I think I'll quickly go through like 2 or 3 more.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So Gadoni 2023, can we also have a conversation about these men and women who say they were baby trapped? You were having unprotected sex, no contraceptives, or they failed. The only form of birth control that is 100% effective is abstinence. What did you think that was going to happen? Chim,
Very
tell
good
us.
topic. Very, very good
Yes.
topic. Listen, as a man, once you ejaculate, you have no control over your sperm. It's gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
To the point where we have had
Yeah.
instances where someone will even go dig in the trash through the condom. Yes, the guys who their chicks actually go dig through the condom, to the trash for the condom, and inseminate themselves. It happens. It happens. Now, but it's not really at that level. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's just as simple as a shorty telling you, you guys are having, she does. And for some reason, women usually think a baby is going to fix things. So she tells you, yo,
No,
I'm on the
ladies,
pill.
no, it's a lie,
She's
it's a
on the
lie.
pill, then she tells you, oh man, yeah, it failed. It happens. For you to assume it doesn't happen is for you to assume we live in a world without thieves.
No. Chim, what I think what the point she's raising, and I almost agree with her, is the moment you're having unprotected sex, you
We
are
both
not
know
trapped.
we are not
Whether
protected.
she did it
So
on
how you
purpose or
trapped?
not,
Okay.
you are not trapped.
Here's the thing. As a man, this is something that I've learned. As a man with very, very shitty pull-out game, something that I learned is always be responsible for your own contraceptive. Always.
Exactly.
True.
Exactly.
However, there are women who will go
condoms
out of their
work, I
way
know
to
that.
trap you.
They
If
do.
and how you know a guy was baby trapped? If the guy ni msee wa mjengo ama ni makanga wa matatu akuja kuambia I was baby trapped, it's a lie. No one is baby trapping.
So you say,
No one is baby
please,
trapping.
I'm keen to hear this.
But there are guys
Where
who
you
are
taking-
actually on the come up mad, and this shorty knows, yo, I'm just in the roster. I'm in the
This is my
harem.
opportunity.
Yeah, I'm in the harem, and she'll tell a guy, but then I'm safe. Shoot up the club. Oh man, I miscalculated my days. These are conversations we've had. We know because we've had them. These are
But who are you
conversations
going
we've
out
had
with?
them, not
Who are you
had them,
sleeping
had
with?
them. Huh?
Who are you sleeping with? Yeah, clearly the wrong ones. Anyway,
But I think also women, we need to ask the ladies, do we really baby trap? Is there such a word like baby trap?
Yeah. Okay, tell
Because
us.
trust you me,
Yeah.
if you've had sex the previous night and you knew by the way something,
Yeah.
you would still go and take a pill. So I think this is just not for the guys.
It's
Also
for the
for
ladies
the-
as
yeah.
well. Yeah. I'll be keen to hear what they have to say. Kakoi Fly, 8980. A relationship is a high-key spiritual affair. Pray, meditate, go to therapy, reflect, be aware, chim, adjust, iterate to infinity. 4, end with the one you're with or the one that is to come in your life. People are working with demons you know nothing of. I totally agree, guys.
People who talk about
People are
spirituality
working
are
with
the
demons.
same clowns who talk about astrology and still be
No,
saying that they're Christians.
no,
Okay,
no,
Listen,
Jim.
she's conflating something. She's conflating something. It's not about spirituality, it's about religion. People tell you, yo, I have a spiritual connection to God. Have you ever read your Bible and he said, we have a spiritual contract, you and me? No. No. You know him through, however you know your God, you know him through
Yeah.
clearly established religion sets. You might not agree
Not
entirely with the
necessarily.
dogma. What people get fucked up is they do not agree with the dogma. They don't agree with the church, the rules the church has set that you cannot negotiate with. But you do not have a problem with the Bible. It's the religion separated from the church, right? Or the mosque or the temple or whatever. I was saying all of that to say this. These are those crazy mamas for Ninis, but she's right.
Yeah.
She's right.
So you went round to come and tell
Imagine.
Yeah.
I'm just about to ask you to reread without the spirituality.
Yeah, she's right though.
She's right. Yeah.
No, yeah.
And relationships are the highest calling we are called to on earth. Make
Yeah.
no mistake about that.
Yeah,
The relationship you will have with a man, because for you, and the relationship I will have with a woman, it supersedes the relation. By the way, it supersedes the relationship you will have with the children you guys get. Yes.
I think it is at that point that we end the show.
Let's end the show.
No, but finish your point before
No, like-
we end the show.
She's right. We do need to have such conversations.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
do need to have
for
such
sure.
conversations.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
if that's a standard, then you have to ask yourself, what about in blended families? Does the sin still
Yes,
hold?
yeah. But I think the other thing that we also probably also need to remember is work on yourself as a person. Because it feels like at this point you only think about the other person. What
person,
demons
yeah.
are you bringing? But also just looking at yourself. What
Sometimes
demons
you
am
are
I
the
bringing?
demon.
Exactly.
Zay.
I could
Sometimes
be
you
the
are just the
demon.
demon.
Yeah.
Zay.
I could be the
I've broken this
demon.
thing.
Yeah.
Goddamn. Anyway,
So
yeah.
I'll end on this note. It's a bit of a high note. So someone here, Gaduon Joroge, which Mumama is a sponsor? Sheila, do you want to sponsor someone?
Hell no.
Hell no.
In this economy. Oh no.
In this economy, it's cheap.
It's cheap to sponsor someone.
Mpatie
Oh
chipo.
my god.
Mpatie chipo.
Hey.
So anyway,
Should be Carol though.
No.
By the way, yo, I've had guys ask about you guys. By the way, I've shared that with the two of you.
Let's
My friends have
ignore
asked
this guy,
about.
eh?
Tutakutana Jumatatu.
Tell you,